Welcome, Bulldogs. My name is Santia Rogers, the Vice President of NABA A&M and Senior Accounting Major.
And my name is Meris Mollel, the president of NABA A&M and senior finance major.
And we are
Breaking
Down
down
Business.
business.
Today we have the Chief Finance Officer of Alabama Agricultural and Mechanical University, Mr. Carlton Spellman. Mr. Spellman has over 30 years of experience in finance and higher education. He had a distinguished career in the United States Marine Corps from 1984 to 2007 as a first sergeant. He gained skills in logistics, financial management, and personnel administration that prepared him for his approach in the civilian sector. As a graduate of St. Leo University, Mr. Spellman's academic background complements his professional success. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Spellman.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. It's an honor. Yep.
So thank you so much. I guess our accounting and finance students want to learn a little bit more about you. And we'll start with growing up, what led you to choosing business as a career path, or how did it choose you?
Wow. So at an early age, I guess you could say I was exposed to business in general. My grandparents were small business owners. And so they would always find something for me to do, sweep the floor, help out here or there. So kind of was exposed to that and exposed to the importance of being self-supporting, self-sustaining, and just business in general. And so I kind of found an interest in that. So when I joined the military, I was looking for a job that kind of put me in a space where I could utilize business and, challenge my mind and things of that nature as best I could, being in a military environment, obviously. So when I joined the military, part of the things that I ended up doing was, I worked in finance, did some budgeting, budget forecasting, procurement, accounts payable, so all those types of activities. Working with major defense contractors such as Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Boeing. Spent some time also working with civilian military DoD employees, and just learn the relationship between the civilian community and small business in the civilian community and the Department of Defense. So I think that's kind of where it really got my interest and got me going.
Absolutely. It sounds like you chose business, but it initially chose you.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I guess to go more into detail about it, what are some technical and soft skills that prepared you to be CFO of Alabama A&M?
Wow. So that's a good question. So I think when you think about, those soft skills, it's really about, just kind of, people and getting to know people and understanding people. So as you stated earlier, being in the military, being a leader in the military, being a first sergeant, you kind of understand and get to know people, kind of meet them where they're at. So I think that was instrumental in developing me as a person in my career. But also, I was fortunate enough to have jobs that kind of connected with what I do in higher ed. So in the military, I used a database platform that's very similar to what I use in the various higher education institutions I've been in. They're Oracle-based, things of that nature. So that was very helpful. May have different names for them, but same concepts. The work's very similar. You put yourself in a situation where it's almost like running a small city, so to speak. You have dining you have to worry about, the mail you have to worry about, security you have to worry about, payroll, all of those things, making sure the bills get paid, the lights stay on, and larger budget, but and more spend, but same concept. So I think that really helped me in utilizing those skills kind of cross. Obviously, taking classes and learning, and as you go through your degree progression, you learn, the technical side and all those things, and the academic side, and it just comes all together, and you start getting into that prac app. So
I really enjoy your natural trajectory. Yeah. So to go into more, another question it'd be, what are some important projects that you've overseen throughout your career?
wow. So typically, most of my major projects are around obviously budget cuts. And unfortunately, sometimes when you have budget cuts, you have to get into what they call, RIFs, or reduction in force. So I had to go through that. And probably the most challenging piece of that, obviously, that's really one of the most challenging pieces of my job that I've experienced, is because then you have to be willing to have that conversation with the campus. So that's a campus conversation. And you got to, you just got to be sensitive to it and think about people, and you think about the organization as a whole and how do you sustain the organization, but you have to also be conscious of the people that are there as well. And but also been very fortunate to do some high level financing projects and financing various projects. Looking for the proper vehicle. I kind of like that work. Trying to figure out how do we get this project financed. Private placement. We're selling bonds, whatever the case may be. So that's very exciting for me as well. And then typically just working with the various surveillance agencies and whether it's Fitch or S&P or Moody's, and just trying to get your credit rating and explain what you're doing and making sure that you maintain a good credit rating. So, projects such as that, and of course, capital projects as a whole, just seeing a building start groundbreaking and watching that building come up is pretty exciting.
Wow, absolutely. So to speak to not only myself, but to so many early professionals and students, we'd love to know, what would you tell a dreamer that has an aspiration of being on the C-suite?
Great question. So yeah, if you want to be in the C-suite, what would I say? So I think, one, obviously it's important to, I know you probably hear this all the time, right? Get your Rolodex right? Those contacts, those points of contacts. And so always have a strong, group of individuals, have those mentor-mentee relationships. So you want to maintain that. Be willing to think beyond what's in front of you. Got to be creative. You got to be able to think beyond what's obvious to you. But I think most importantly, continue to develop your leadership skills. I think one of the most challenging things about being in the C-suite is the ability to have good judgment, to make the right decision, and to try to understand where people are at, right? The people that are looking to you for leadership. They have to be able to trust you. They have to believe in what you're telling them. You have to be very transparent. And all of that is just part of those leadership traits and principles that kind of come into play, know when to be empathetic, know when to hold people accountable, but also just the leadership piece is key. It's the personality sometime in the workplace that are more difficult to deal with than the actual technical piece of the job itself.
Wow. Okay. Yep. And that was great. And we want to say thank you again so much for giving us a little bit of insight in your space. And again, we are Breaking Down Business, the Accounting and Finance Club, NABA AAMU, and AAMU Finance Club. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.